In 6 weeks since Lagos launched Metro, the excitement has subsided, leaving many to wonder how effective this line has been in reducing travel times and improving quality of life. This is a must-watch video before you take your first blue or red line trip. The Lagos Blue Line launched in 2023 after literal decades of back and forth, and it's one of those things where it's better late than never. The electrified line is a symbol of what can happen and what can be over the next few years. Meanwhile, the Lagos Red Line launched in 2024, October 2024, and at the time of recording, it had been operating for just 6 weeks. This line connects Lagos to Ogun State. As at 2024, work on the Blue Line extension towards LASU and Okokomaiko were currently in progress, potentially making the Blue Line 27 kilometers long. There are also plans to extend the Red Line to Marina. In order to be able to access the terminals to get on your ride on the red or blue line, you need a cowrie card. The easiest comparison I can make to a cowrie card is the Oyster card in London. Lagos State government imagined it as a one-stop shop for all your transport payments. So if you want to get on BRT or the small blue buses, you pay with this card. If you want to get on the train, you pay with this card. The ferry services within the city, you pay with this card. Is there anything else? But a one card option for all your transport payments. So this line, you cannot pay with cash on these lines. You will need to go to one of the stands or from your home and then load cash into the card. So whenever you go, you just tap and then you've paid. I strongly believe that this is the future of public transport, because one time I wanted to pay and I didn't have enough money. It allowed me to go through, and the next time I paid, they took the money from it. So it makes a lot of sense. Kudos to them on that. These train stations are also very multimodal, especially on the red line. The Oshodi Transport Interchange doubles as the train station terminal, so you can get from your train and then get on the bus. You might be wondering how much it costs, and the simple answer to this question is it depends. The pricing is dynamic. As mentioned earlier, when you get there, you take your cowrie card and then you tap in. It doesn't necessarily take the money out there, but it just says that you are about to start a ride. You go to the platform, and then when you get off, it calculates how much your ride costs based on zones. I know that the Lagos Red Line has 3 zones depending on where you start. So if you go, let's say you go from Oyingbo to Mushin station, it's probably be zone 1 pricing. But if you're going from Oyingbo to Ikeja, probably be zone 2. And if you're going from Oyingbo to the end of the line at Agbado, then it's be zone 3 pricing. But I believe the most expensive is 1,500 naira each way. It might sound insane, but it's cheaper than going by road from Yaba Oyingbo to Agbado. When you get to your train station and you tap out, that's when you get charged. But due to the state of Nigeria, 1,500 is simultaneously too cheap and too expensive. Are you enjoying the video so far? If you are, you definitely should subscribe and like this video. Thank you very much. The Lagos Blue Line has been in operation for more than a year, and over the year, the people in charge have improved stuff and fixed a lot of the kinks. So when you ride on the Lagos Blue Line, it definitely feels like a more polished and matured experience. The train starts at 6:30 a.m. daily except Sunday, and there's a train every 18 minutes because it takes 18 minutes to go the 13 kilometers of the current line. According to them, the last train arrives at the terminal at 9 p.m. So if you're traveling anywhere within the line, you can expect to be able to use the train from 6:30 to 9 p.m. on most days. I don't know why they don't do on Sundays, but it is what it is. And when you travel during rush hour, like in the morning and when people are coming back from work, you see the difference when you also travel during the middle of the day when most people are at work and school. Alternatively, traveling on the red line is a different experience. At the time of recording, the line was in operation for less than 2 months, and when I took the ride, it had been operating for less than a week. The major difference between the train tracks of the blue and red line, apart from it being electric on the blue line, is the fact that the blue line straddles the coast for most of the way, but the red line goes on existing train tracks. That means that constructing the new terminals created a bit of an headache. You can't really bulldoze or build anything because it's a national rail line. So how do you build terminal access? When you go to these trains, you realize that seeing the train station and entering the train station is something different, but that's for later in the video. There are currently limited rides daily, only 5 rides a day, 3 rides from Agbado to Oyingbo and 2 rides from Oyingbo to Agbado, and it only operates during rush hour. So it's either you go very early in the morning or very late at night. There are already 3 in-depth videos on this topic on this channel. This is just a summarization for first time and prospective travelers. Not too long ago, while conversing with a friend or colleague, we had a conversation about how useful the blue line and red line are. This person was basically making the argument that it's more of a gimmick. It only connects Mile 2 to Marina, for example. And somebody also dropped a similar comment. I experienced 3 terminals on this trip. That's the Mile 2 terminal, National Theatre terminal, and Marina terminal. With the exception of the National Theatre terminal, there are BRT and bus services to this train station. So if you're going towards, let's say, VI, for example, and you're at the Marina station, you should be able to get buses more often than not. And same thing for Mile 2. There is literally a BRT stand embedded into the terminal. But the National Theatre terminal is a different case. When you get there, you have to walk down to the National Theatre and then walk through the premises onto the road. And there are no plans for people to be able to connect to other buses. When you come out of the National Theatre, you have to cross a very busy road with sharp corners. And each time I cross it, it's quite scary. So there's still more work to be done to make it more intermodal. That doesn't necessarily have to do with building anything, just designing. When it comes to the red line, seeing the train station and finding the entrance to the terminal are two very different things. I had seen the Yaba train station for a while during the construction, but I always tried to figure out where the entrance was. While I planned to take this trip, I was literally minutes away from missing the train. I think about 6 minutes away when I got down from the bridge at Tejo Market. I kept looking around. I was running like a madman. I literally had to draw a map in my head, look at the pedestrian bridge, and then draw a line to the other side of the road. Cross the road, go to the other side, climb up, and then I had to pass over the entire main road before I got to the terminal. And it was just so messy. I understand that this is necessary to accommodate existing infrastructure, but there were no signs, nothing. You just have to figure it out by yourself. If you're still here, then I'm sure you are enjoying this video or gaining value from it. Why don't you reward us by subscribing and leaving a like on the video? One of the perks of building infrastructure from scratch is that you get to control almost every aspect of it. And for infrastructure built decades ago, things that users and consumers of present day expect might not be there. So when you go on the Lagos Blue Line, it feels very modern, it feels well thought of. Everything just makes sense. And that's the major difference between boarding the Lagos Blue Line and the Lagos Red Line. When you locate the station, which isn't hard to locate, these stations usually stick out. You walk up the stairs, and it also has accessible stairs. So the level on which you would see the entrance, and then you get into the entrance, there are security cameras and all that take your temperature and know who is going in. And then once you pass that, there's a station where you can pay, or you can just go straight to the tapping point. Obviously there are security checks where necessary, but the staff on this line as well as the red line were very amazing. One of the major issues that I and other people that have experienced this Lagos Red Line have is the accessibility of the stations. Maybe it just wasn't done right or the constraints, but I really find it hard to see how old people and people with accessibility issues will be able to access the terminals themselves, because going to the other side of the road, crossing a road with limited zebra crossing, and we know how zebra crossings are in Nigeria, then getting there using the steep ramp, those ramps are too steep. I don't think they were designed for actual people. Just to get to the train station itself, it seems very poorly thought of. And I connected to the Yaba station, also connected to the Oshodi station. I did not figure out how it would be easy or even feasible for people with accessibility issues to access it. Once again, this is not an attack on the Lagos State government. This is just a genuine issue that I noticed. So before you type that comment, think about what I just said. If you value the work we do here on this channel and you would like to support, please consider becoming a member or gifting super thanks. It means a lot and goes a long way in helping me. Thank you very much. There is nothing to fear before your first trip on the Lagos Red or Blue Line. There really isn't. All you need to do is go with enough cars. So if you need to get a cowrie card and you're able to fill it up, then after that, just ensure you do not go too close to the trains themselves. Stay behind the yellow line on the platform and just be a regular law-abiding person. It's as simple as that. At the time of recording this video, the Lagos Blue Line was being extended to make it 27 kilometers long. There are also plans in place to extend the red line, and concrete-ish conversations on the proposed green line from Marina to, I believe, Ibejuleke are also in conversation. I strongly believe that any city that is serious about competing on the world stage should have a reliable and expansive metro network, and if that's one thing that Lagos gets right, then I'm all for it. But in the meantime, we also need to get Lagos clean. Honestly, I had to delete minutes worth of footage from outside the train, especially on the red line, die because of just how dirty it was outside. We really need to do better as a people. On to the next video. Your friend from the Ukodo YouTube channel wishes you love, peace and prosperity.